Hey people, Andre here. Imagine you just inherited a house, but instead of a house, it's a government. And instead of a mortgage, you owe half your GDP to some guys with battleships. Congratulations, you are now Carlos P. Garcia. And your country is the Philippines, where foreign businesses own everything, and the economy is held together with chewing gum and prayers. But before that, I have to fulfill a financial obligation. Because much like Carlos P. Garcia, I too am at the mercy of foreign interest. And today's video is sponsored by Established Titles, the company that lets you buy a tiny piece of Scotland and legally call yourself a lord, allegedly. Hey people, Future Andre here, editing. So, fun fact, Established Titles is actually a Hong Kong scam. You don't actually own any land, and calling yourself a lord with this certificate holds as much legal weight as calling yourself Batman because you own a cape. Turns out the land they sell isn't even legally recognized, and the whole conservation effort part? Yeah, let's just say their transparency on that is about as solid as the peso during an economic crisis. So why am I still doing this sponsorship read? Because it's funny. And because I love the idea that someone, somewhere, will get into an argument about their Scottish lordship based on this video. And honestly, that's worth more to me than the actual sponsorship money. Ever wanted to flex on your friends by being nobility? Well, now you can with Established Titles. You can now own a 1 square foot plot of land in Scotland and according to them, become a certified lord or lady. You'll even get a fancy certificate which is about as legally binding as a pinky promise. Use your newfound status to get better restaurant service, impress people at parties, or add lord to your Tinder profile so people know you're a very serious individual. But wait, there's more. Established Titles, TM, also claims to help conservation efforts by planting a tree for every purchase. So while you might not actually own land, at least you're slightly lessening the environmental damage caused by your crippling consumerism. And because I'm contractually obligated to say this, if you use my link, you'll get 10% off your very own noble title. So click the link below and claim your fake lordship today. Anyway, back to Carlos P. Garcia, a man who at least tried to make ownership laws actually mean something. Now let's rewind. Before Garcia could start a speedrun of fixing a broken economy any percent, he had to take office. And he wasn't supposed to. Not like this. See, the actual president, Ramon Magsaysay, had the unfortunate habit of boarding airplanes. One fateful flight later, the aircraft decided it no longer wanted to participate in being an airplane. And boom! Magsaysay was out of office faster than a politician caught with offshore accounts. Fly high, king. So Garcia, the vice president, gets promoted and he takes over at the worst possible time. The Philippines was essentially a piñata and foreign companies were the kids at the party, whacking away and collecting all the candy. Except instead of candy, it was our national wealth. And instead of kids, they were corporations and foreign investors who didn't like sharing. Now most people in Garcia's situation would either A, do nothing, or B, do something stupid. But Garcia, he chose C. Commit economic war crimes against foreign interests. Because if you thought he was going to let the Philippines be an all-you-can-exploit buffet forever, you'd be dead wrong. Enter the Filipino first policy. But before we got into that, let's take a moment to appreciate what Garcia was up against. A country where foreign companies owned entire industries. American businesses. They had better rights than actual Filipinos, and any attempt at economic independence was met with foreign diplomats giving you the, that's cute, but no look. Garcia had two options: roll over and let the economy be colonized again, or actually do something about it. Spoiler, he chose violence. Ever walked into your own house and found strangers living in there? That was the Philippine economy before Carlos P. Garcia. Foreign businesses ran the show, and Filipinos were lucky to even get scraps. So Garcia did what any reasonable man would do. He kicked the guests out and locked the doors. Enter the Filipino first policy. The idea was simple. Filipinos should own and control their own economy. Local entrepreneurs got first dibs on business opportunities, while foreign investors got a firm handshake and a request to sit down. Now, if Garcia was around today, you know exactly how he'd explain it. In fact,
listen folks, we have a big problem, huge, the biggest problem. The economy, it's being run by people who don't even live here. Can you believe it? They're taking your businesses, they're taking your opportunities, and frankly, they're laughing at us. But not anymore. Under my administration, we're doing Filipinos first, okay? Only Filipinos, the best Filipinos, great Filipinos will run the economy. No more foreign control. It's going to be fantastic. Believe me, America did it. China did it. Why can't we? Folks, we're going to make the peso great again.
Predictably, foreign corporations panicked. Local elites who liked foreign money weren't thrilled either. But for Garcia, this was about economic independence, not making rich people comfortable. Unfortunately, just because something sounds good doesn't mean it works smoothly. Many businesses handed to Filipinos ended up being run by friends of politicians, not actual entrepreneurs. Corruption and mismanagement followed, and soon enough, even locals were questioning if this was such a great idea. Still, the Filipino First policy planted the seeds of self-sufficiency. The problem, the economy itself wasn't cooperating, and Garcia's next battle wasn't just against investors, it was against money itself. See, here's the thing. What's worse than being broke? Being broke while everyone around you is stealing your lunch money. And that was the Philippine economy under Garcia. Except instead of lunch money, it was US dollars. And instead of school bullies, it was foreign businesses and international trade policies screwing us over. Here's the thing, or the deal. The Philippines needed dollars to buy imports, pay off international debts, and not collapse into economic chaos. But there was a problem. Those dollars were leaving the country faster than politicians changing parties. So Garcia said, enough of this nonsense, and pulled out his next power move, strict currency controls. If you wanted to spend dollars on foreign imports, you needed permission. The goal? Keep the dollars inside the country and stop the economic hemorrhaging. But here's the thing, messing with rich people's money, they really don't like it. Businessmen freaked out, investors panicked, and importers screamed into the void. The economy slowed down, prices shot up, and the people, oh, they suffered. They suffered hard. At this point, Garcia wasn't just fighting the economy, he was also playing a high-stakes game of diplomacy. Because fun fact, the United States still had a massive military presence in the Philippines, and they weren't exactly thrilled with his economic nationalism. See, even though the Philippines was independent, America still treated it like you live under our rules type of situation. We had US military bases, trade agreements that benefited them more than us, and a special friendship that felt a lot like being the younger sibling who always gets the broken controller. Garcia had to be real careful. Push too hard and he risked losing US support. Push too little and his entire Filipino First dream collapses. So he walked a fine line, demanding better trade deals while still pretending everything was fine. And it kind of worked for a while, until the 1961 elections happened, and spoiler, Garcia lost hard because let's be honest, his policies made a lot of people mad. The economy was struggling and inflation was up, and businessmen wanted their foreign money back. Enter Diosdado Macapagal, the guy who beat Garcia and immediately started undoing his policies. Import restrictions? Gone. Dollar controls? Scrapped. Foreign businesses? Come on back, boys. And that, folks, was the end of Garcia's presidency. He retired, watched his economic legacy get dismantled, and lived the rest of his life as a respected but mostly ignored elder statesman. The good news, he didn't get exiled, assassinated, or overthrown, which by Philippine political standards is an achievement. So, was Garcia a genius, nationalist, or just an economic headache? Well, that depends on who you ask. For foreign investors, he was a problem. For local businessmen, he was an obstacle. For history, he was that guy who tried to make the Philippines independent but got steamrolled by political reality. At the end of the day, Garcia's policies were bold, risky, and kind of a mess. But at least, he had the guts to actually fight for Filipino economic independence. Unlike some other leaders who just sold out. So, Carlos P. Garcia, hero, headache, or both? You decide. Just don't ask foreign businessmen. They're still mad about it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one. Alright, roll the credits.